Hi Kind Yogis, welcome to today's practice at the Squamish Yacht Club. Our focus for today is low back and hip release. We're going to get started on our backs. So come to relax down, slide the shoulder blades underneath you, propping the heart just gently open. And just take a little bit of a wiggle through your hips, releasing the low back onto the earth. We're going to just start by establishing our breath. So close the eyes and take an inhale to fill the low back, mid back, upper back, and hold. Exhale, deflate your upper back, mid back, low back, hold. Inhale to fill the low back, mid back, upper back, and pause. Exhale to deflate your upper back, mid back, low back, pause. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, hold. Exhale, 3, 2, 1, pause. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, hold. Exhale, 3, 2, 1, pause. Gently open your eyes and we'll just start by moving through the hips. So you're going to let your left knee drop out, externally rotating, and then come back to center. See if you can let it go all the way in, finding an internal rotation. Do this a few times, nice and slowly. You can even tee the arms out a little bit for support. Just waking up that hip socket. And then switching sides, right knee comes in, internal rotation. Try to get that knee as close to the mat as you can, and then all the way to the outer blade of that foot. Knee as close to the earth as you externally rotate. Do that a few times, in and out. In and out. Good, come back through center. We're gonna draw this right knee into the chest, clasp the hands over the shin, and just give it a gentle squeeze, drawing the femur bone in towards the belly. Couple of deep breaths, compressing the inner organs on the right-hand side. Good, and then from here, you're gonna hold this right knee with your hand. Right arm can relax out or on the hip crest and just take some big, smooth circles to the right. And with your eyes closed even here, you can just kind of bring your attention and awareness to any areas that might feel sticky. As you go around all the turns, noticing if there's any kind of crackling, or I always kind of think of it almost like the sound of like a plastic bag. If you squish it between your fingers, sometimes there can be built up scar tissue and it creates that sound. Okay, change directions. I'm just thinking of this almost as though you're oiling this joint. And then send that right leg up towards the sky. Circle out the ankle joint as well. Couple times in one direction and then the other. Good, and then keeping this leg long, you're gonna clasp the hands around the shin or the hamstring, whichever's available. Take a breath in. On your exhale, gently start to guide that thigh in towards the body. So low back pain, it can occur for many reasons, but very commonly it happens because we have tension in the hips and the hamstrings. And the hamstrings are really stubborn muscles that really grip tight onto our low back. And so it's so important to just take some time, giving them some love and attention. 2 more breaths. And then from here, start to bend that knee. Take hold of the outer edge of the foot or the big toe and just gently pull the knee down towards the earth for half happy baby. Working into the hip a little deeper. 2 full long breaths. Inhale. Smooth exhale. Full breath in. Full breath out. Good, and then from here, you're gonna relax that right foot down once again, and we'll switch sides. So hug your left knee into the chest, braid with the opposite grip this time. Inhale to lengthen your spine. On your exhale, again, pull the left knee now into the chest or even to the left shoulder. Wind relieving pose. Good, from here, you're gonna take that left hand to the knee, right hand relaxes on the hip crest, and just once again, create these nice, big, smooth circles, lubricating that hip joint. So I always say, yoga is so much less about the workout and more about our awareness in this present moment. And here, we're paying attention to the feedback that our body is giving us. It's providing us information through sensation. So notice what you feel. Change directions. Paying attention to areas that feel a little less mobile. Maybe making note for later. Good, and then from here, you're gonna kick that heel to the sky, getting the knee as straight as possible. It might not go perfectly straight, and that's fine. You're gonna circle at the ankle to start a few times in one direction. It's so important to work through the ankle joint as well, especially in Canada when there's lots of ice and it's easy to slip and fall. Having ankles that aren't so stiff, that are more mobile, can really help to avoid a sprained ankle. Good, from here we're gonna inhale to lengthen up tall, and exhale to pull the left thigh in towards the chest as you kick the heel to the sky. You don't have to get the leg all the way there. Remember, it's less about the depth or how far you go into the pose and more about how honest you're being with your body about the information it's providing. Stop when you feel the sensation and breathe into it. Good, left hand to the foot or the big toe and gently pull left knee down towards the shoulder or mat. Half happy baby on the second side. Close the eyes, soften through the jaw. If you like, you can even just kind of use that second hand to just kind of massage any areas in the face even that feel tense, especially if you've had a long, stressful day at work. Good, and then from here, we're just gonna find full happy baby, so holding both feet now as you push down towards the floor, gently rocking from side to side over your low back, just releasing any built up tension there. Massaging all the ropey muscles up and down the length of your spine, the spinal extensors, the upper back. Good, from here, we're gonna plant the feet down like we would for bridge pose. You're gonna tee the arms out. Feet are hip distance apart. We're actually gonna start with just a pelvis tilt forward and back. Try if you can. There's no such thing as perfect isolation because everything in our body is linked together, but see if you can almost with your imagination isolate this movement to this area of your body. Good, forward and back, forward and back. A couple more times, making this nice and subtle. Good, and next time you come back, tucking the tail under, you're gonna start to press down through the heels and really slowly, one vertebrae at a time, like a string of pearls, lifting the pelvis and the hips, the low back, all the way, stopping at the shoulder blades off of the floor. You're gonna pause at the top And then working your way from the top down, lowering the upper spine, mid back, low back, all the way to the sacrum. And coming back into that low back arch just gently. And then coming all the way back. So starting to tuck the tail, lifting sacrum, low back, mid back, upper back off of the floor. It doesn't feel like we're doing much here, but we're giving each vertebrae in the spinal column love and attention. We're really helping to establish that connection between the brain and the body. And do about 3 to 5 of these. And just moving with kindness towards your body. I've got 2 more. Good, and when you get to the bottom, cross the ankles, take hold of your knees, and gently pull your way up to seated. Bringing the soles of your feet to connect, we're coming into butterfly posture. Take hold of the toes with your hands, lengthen the shoulder blades down and away from your ears, and do a few circular motions here. Maybe even just half semicircles, left to right. Feel free to get your neck involved. And this is actually a really great exercise, not only for the hips, but also for the entire trunk, the low back, and your neck. Good, and then come back to neutral. And the same thing we did on the back, lean back. Step your feet a little wider than hip distance apart. You're gonna internally rotate, knee taps down to the floor, and then externally rotate. Do this a couple of times. And then switch. Good, and then come all the way into your tabletop posture. So from tabletop posture, we're gonna do a few rounds of cat and cow. Drop the belly down, lift the crown of your head and your sit bones, breathe in. And curl through your back body, tuck the tailbone under, round the chin to the chest. Sway the belly down, lift through the sit bones, slide the shoulder blades back and lift your crown. And curl as you exhale. Tuck the chin to the chest, round the tailbone under. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Good. From here, come to your neutral. Tuck the toes. We'll find our first downward dog. Feel free to take a little bit wider of a downward dog stance with your feet, so your feet can be a little wider than mat distance apart if you like. And just start to send the hips up towards the sky. Feel free to have bent knees. The interesting thing about our yoga practice is for so long we've had this image of very pin straight legs, folded up, crumpled into this pretzel shape. Actually, what's true is that we can stretch and lengthen our hamstrings even with our knees bent. It's all about the tilt of the pelvis. So can you bend the knees and then tilt your pelvis forward so the sit bones lift towards the sky? Bend the knees, look between the hands, and step to the front of your mat. You're gonna inhale and lengthen. Find a flat spine stretch. And on your exhale, fold forward over the legs, remembering that your knees can be bent. Inhale to lengthen, flat spine stretch. Exhale to fold. Good, inhale to circle the arms nice and big all the way up overhead. Hands to your heart on your exhale. Good. Step your feet a little wider than mat distance apart, and we're gonna go through some spinal rolls. So this is gonna help with the posterior chain of our body, which also tends to pull on the lower back. So starting at the neck, You're going to tuck the chin to the chest. Let the arms be limp as you start to round the upper back forward. Try not to get ahead of yourself, just moving one vertebrae at a time all the way down towards the earth. Arms are dangling. And we'll take 3 breaths at the bottom. One more breath. And then slowly letting the head be the last thing to lift. Arms are limp like a rag doll. Low back, upper back. Roll the shoulder blades back, spin the heart open the palms to the sky. Maybe even find a gentle upper back bend. And we'll move through this twice more, a little faster. Tuck the chin to the chest. Thumbs rotate down, arms become limp, fold forward over the body. Chin is the last thing to lift, starting from the base all the way up, moving a little bit faster. You can inhale, open the heart, uncurl the arms, lift the chest. And exhale, begin to curl your spine, rolling all the way forward. Good, last one like that. Inhale to spinal roll all the way up. And then stay as you exhale. And coming down into a yogic squat. Bring your hands to prayer. Just take a couple of breaths here as you sit nice and low into your hips. Maybe sway from side to side, trying your best to think about rooting your sit bones straight down towards the earth below you and lifting your crown up nice and tall. Maybe even swing left to right with the knees. Good, you're gonna bring your left hand down and the right arm up, finding a gentle twist through the upper back. So the pushing of the knee into the tricep and the tricep back into the knee to create a gentle opposing force. This helps to kind of lock the low spine so you can have a bit more freedom through the T-spine, that's the mid-spine. And then switch, right hand to the inside of your right leg. Create that opposing force as you lift and open. 3 breaths. Good, and then relax that hand down. We're gonna go through a few sun salutations that are a little unique. This is specifically for your low back and hips. So we're going to come to standing with our feet a little bit wider than hip distance. You can inhale to reach your arms up. Bend your knees on your exhale, fold forward. Inhale to lengthen, flat back. Exhale to plant the palms and step your left foot way back. Release the knee to the mat. Twist and open, right arm reaches up. Exhale the right hand down. Slide your right knee back underneath the hip and take child's pose. Good, lean your weight forward. Step your left foot to the outside of your left hand. Reach your right arm up overhead. Big breath in. Exhale the hand to the floor. Lift your back knee and come back to garland or malasana, so sitting nice and low. Inhale to reach up, stand tall. Hands to your heart as you exhale. Let's do that again on the second side. So you're going to inhale to circle the arms up. Exhale to swan dive forward over the legs. Flat back stretch as you breathe in. Fold as you breathe out. This time, step the right foot way back. Tap the knee down. Find a twist as you open the hips. Inhale, big stretch. Exhale the hand down. Slide your left knee back underneath the hip for child's pose. I like my toes tucked here just to stretch the soles of the feet, but it's your choice, whichever works. Think about lengthening your low back here. Inhale to lean the weight forward. Step your right foot to the outside of your right hand. Once again, you're going to inhale to lift that right arm up, big stretch. Exhale the hand down. And pick up your back knee, and we'll step this left foot forward, garland. Big breath in here, shoulder blades down the back. And exhale. Inhale to stand tall, reach up. Hands to your heart as you exhale. Okay, let's inhale to reach all the way up. Exhale to bow forward. Lengthen as you breathe in. Fold as you breathe out. Plant the palms, step your feet back to a high push-up posture. Full breath in at the top. Tap your knees down, and on your exhale, lower all the way to the earth. Untuck your toes, inhale, lift for full back bend. And exhale to lower. Inhale to lift up. And lower. One more time. Full breath in, lift. And release down. Tuck your toes, inhale, lift to tabletop. And on our exhale, we'll find downward dog. Big breath in. And a long exhale. And tap the right knee down and step your right foot forward between the hands. You can tent the fingertips to help create space. We'll find our first high lunge. Inhale to reach the arms all the way up. And pause here. This is a great stretch for our psoas. Our psoas is actually, it inserts from the top of the femur around the knee, goes across the front of the hip through to the lower back. And if we have tension here, it actually pulls on the low back muscles, and that over time creates a lot of low back pain. So we're really lengthening that muscle out here. Big breath in. On our exhale, we're gonna open that left hip to warrior two. So finding a nice hip opener here through the right hip. Draw that right knee, track it in line with the toes. We're gonna inhale to reverse, reach up, side bend. Exhale for warrior two. And twice more. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Big side stretch. Exhale, warrior two. Straighten your front knee. Glide your upper body forward. Pause here in your triangle posture. Keep a gentle micro bend, active through these front muscles. Imagine everything here suctioning up towards the hip. And then rotate the right arm down, left arm up. Try not to collapse here. Use the strength. Brace through your core. Hold for 3, 2, and 1. Left hand to the hip. Bend the knee. Plant the palms down. Plank pose as you breathe in. Lower all the way to the floor. You can use the knees for assistance if you need it. Inhale for a full or baby cobra. Exhale to lower. And tuck your toes. Inhale, table. Exhale for downward dog. Big breath in. Big breath out. And tap the knees down. This time you're going to step your left foot forward between the hands. Tense your fingertips to create space if you need it. Once again, we're going to find our high lunge. Arms come up overhead. Breathe in. And on your exhale, sit nice and powerfully into this posture. Think less about dumping into your low back to create that arch, more about lengthening. So that tilting of the pelvis. Tuck the tail under almost, or straight down towards the earth. Big breath in. We're gonna externally rotate that left hip and right for warrior two. Looking over your left middle finger, you're gonna inhale to reverse, big side bend. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale to reverse. Exhale, warrior two. One more time, reverse. Exhale, warrior two. Straighten your front knee. Inhale to glide that upper body forward. Triangle posture. Same thing on this side. Really lengthening in all 5 points of the body. Really thinking of lifting the left rib cage away from the floor. Bend the knee, plant the hands, and then step back to plank. Hold here at the top of your push-up. We're going to slowly lower. Use the knees if you need them all the way to the earth. Good. Big back bend. Breathe in. Exhale, lower one at a time. Belly button, ribs, chest, and chin. Inhale to table. Exhale, downward dog. Good. So for our next exercise, we're gonna do this either from hands and knees or from downward dog. So I'll demonstrate from hands and knees, but you, of course, if you have this stability and the support in your wrists, do it from down dog. You're gonna extend this right leg back, full breath in. On your exhale, start to draw big circles through this right hip, just like we did on our back earlier. Now we're just kind of doing this from tabletop, which requires a little bit more strength from the core. Change directions. Good. From here, listen carefully. You're going to step this right knee behind the left. You're going to swivel the feet apart and then stay here. Option, just start to send the hips back. So you might be able to sit all the way down, or you might kind of just stop here. But this is similar to pigeon. It's kind of like leading up. It's a cousin posture to pigeon pose. So close the eyes, take 3 breaths. Just releasing the glutes, the IT bands. Good, and then from here, we're gonna come back to our tabletop and find downward dog. Little dog fight here. Just float your right leg high and step the right foot forward. Spin your back heel down, rise up, warrior 1. Big breath in. And right away from warrior 1, we're gonna find humble warrior. So option 1, you can braid the fingers together behind the back and stay here. Or option 2, just start to fold forward, bring the torso over the leg. Lift the knuckles to the sky. Good, from humble warrior, tap your hands down. Tap the back knee down. Inhale to lift and lengthen your heart. Exhale to shift the hips back, finding a half Hanuman. We'll just sway. Inhale to lift forward. Exhale it back. Inhale it forward. Exhale it back. One more. Forward. And back. Good. From here, you're going to rotate all the way to the left, and we'll find Skandasana. So for Skandasana, or rather a side bend, we're going to take an inhale, and on the exhale, slide this right hand down the right leg, lift the left arm up towards the sky, or overhead. Good. Come all the way back up. And we're going to come into frog posture. So option 1, big toes touching, knees really wide apart for a wide-legged child's pose. Or option 2, coming into frog, turning the feet out to one side. Nice deep stretch through your hips. If you're at home and you have some blankets, you're welcome to kind of wedge them underneath the knees here, just to give them a little bit of additional support, especially for someone who has sensitive knees. Three more deep breaths. Good, lean the weight forward, spin the big toes to touch, and then shift back. And we'll come all the way back into our downward dog, lifting the hips up and back. Again, option to take your hip circles from downward dog right now, or tap the knees down and we'll do the opposite side. So sending that left hip into some nice big rotations, making them as smooth as possible. And change directions. Good. Listen carefully. Left knee behind the right. You can start to split the feet apart, creating this like shoelace posture. An option to just send the hips back a couple of inches if you have a really tight left IT band here. This is the outer side of the glutes. You maybe can go a little farther or all the way down. It's up to you. Take 3 to 5 breaths here. This is, again, a cousin pose for posture, a great setup pose for that. Good. Lean the weight forward. And we're gonna come right into the second side. So find downward dog, lift the hips. Inhale to heel to the sky. Exhale to step the left foot through. Spin your back heel down, rise, warrior one. Arms come up overhead. And right away on your exhale, you're gonna clasp your hands behind your back, lift the chest and roll the knuckles down. So option 1, stay here, or option 2, fold over the front leg. Nice deep stretch here through the low back, the hips, the delts. 2 breaths. And you're going to release your hands down. Tap your back knee down. You're going to inhale, untuck your toes, lift the chest. Exhale, straighten your front knee, fold over your front leg. Inhale to come forward, low lunge. Exhale, come back, half Hanumanasana. Inhale, come forward. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Last one like that. Breathe in. And out. Good. We're going to rotate all the way 180 to the right now. Again, you can have a cushion underneath that right knee. You're going to slide this left hand down that leg and reach the right arm all the way up and over, finding a really beautiful side bend. And then coming all the way back up overhead. And this time, we're just going to turn to face forward, and we're going to find melting heart posture. So you're going to take the hands to the top corners of the mat, big toes touching, knees a little wider, and then send the forehead towards the earth, stretching through the hips, close the eyes. Couple of deep breaths. And filling your entire trunk 3-dimensionally with breath. Okay, lift the head up. And from here, we're going to find 90-90 as we prepare for our pigeon posture. So 90-90 is a really great exercise for internal and external rotation. So you're going to step this right knee to the back of your right wrist and flex the toes up. And then you're going to drop to the outer edge of your right hip and create this 90-90 formation. So my left knee is horizontal to the hip, bent at 90. My right knee is pointing straight forward at 90. And I'm not actually going to fold forward just yet until we get to pigeon posture. So we're going to clasp the hands together. Find a tall spine. You're going to inhale and lengthen, turn to face forward, and on your exhale, start to lean forward, pressing your right shin into the earth and stop here. We're activating around the right hip, holding and breathing. Couple more breaths. The weight of our torso here is creating a load. As we press down through the shin, we're getting active through that right hip. Holding for another breath. And then release the hands down. You can start to slide this left leg behind you, and we'll find full pigeon posture, lowering down. We're going to stay here on this side for just a couple of breaths. Good. So from here, we're actually going to come right to the second side for 90-90. So you're going to push into the hands, rock to the right hip, slide your left leg forward, and we'll come right to the second side. So I'm going to do this facing the other side so you can see your left knee is pointed straight forward, right knee is pointed straight out at 90. We're going to clasp the hands together, lift and lengthen, breathe in. On the exhale, folding forward, hold about halfway. So you should feel an opening here, or I shouldn't say should, you might feel an opening here on the inner right hip, as well as an external opening through the left hip, holding here. Deep breaths. Good, plant the hands down, rock to the outer edge of your left hip, slide that right leg back, set up for your pigeon posture, breathe in and lengthen. Option to stay lifted, or on your exhale, fold over the legs. Just closing the eyes, sending breath to the outer hips. Sending breath to areas that feel really tight and cranky. Our mind and body are so connected, and when we have tension that we're holding physically in the body through muscles or stress, it creates stress in the mind. And vice versa, if we have stress in the mind, you'll notice we start to clench the jaw, our fists, our shoulders hike up, we might feel tension in the hips. And then it's like this feedback loop. One creates tension in the other. So here we're working to break that cycle. And press into the hands, slowly rise up. We're going to come down onto our back. So part of low back pain can also happen if we have a weak core. We're just going to do a tiny bit of core work, but more focused core work today. So it's actually not anything too intense. So we're going to start with dead bug. Bend the knees so that they're lifted directly on top of the hips. And then your arms are just kind of relaxed, fingers and hands are limp above the shoulders, stacked. We're going to start by extending the right arm back. Keep the low back fully on the floor, as well as the mid back. So try if you can not to lift or arch. So you're going to brace through the core to start. We're going to do contralateral. Left leg lowers to a hover. If it can't hover without the back lifting, just stop halfway. This is called contralateral movement. Okay, bring them back and switch. See if you can do them at the same time. Really focusing on keeping the entire spine rooted into the earth, only going as far with the arm and the leg as the strength of the core can support. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. This next exercise is a little more challenging. You're going to take your hands behind your head and bend the elbows. We're going to connect the left elbow to the left knee and let the right leg hover long. I'm going to start to roll towards the left, trying to do this controlled, hard rolls, and then all the way back through center. Roll to the left, trying not to use momentum, but the subtle, deep strength of the core. 2, 3. And this is really great for the obliques. 4, 5. Whoop. Good. Switch. Right knee, right elbow. Upper back is lifted. Roll to the right really slowly. And through center. We got 2, 3, 4, 5, and relax. Bring the knees into the chest and rock, or just create these circles, massaging your low back into the floor. And for our final resting posture, we have plow posture. This is awesome for the low back. So you're gonna hug the knees into the chest. We're gonna kick the feet to the sky, hands support your lower back. Stay here, or start to send the feet behind you. Coming into this really beautiful stretch through the upper back. You might feel this through your hamstrings, through the glutes even. And stay here for about 5 breaths. Good. Start to slowly, one vertebrae like a string of pearls, come all the way back down onto the earth. And we'll end in Supta Baddha Konasana or Shavasana, your choice. Supta Baddha Konasana is soles of the feet touching, knees splayed out to the sides for a really nice external rotation of the hips. You're welcome to stay here for as long as you like. I always encourage students in their final resting posture to really hang out here for at least 5 minutes. I always try to do 5 to 10 minutes of Shavasana or final resting pose. Acknowledge yourself for the care, love, and attention that you showed yourself today. And may any merit that you've gained from this practice today be generated outwards into the world around us. From my heart to yours, namaste.